Hey, Sideburns doing a madness. Yo, welcome to the next, the first month of shit. What the fuck? Welcome to the first month of hashtag not all of us. And we're about to go live with my friend David. Hello. Go live with. Invite everybody. How do I tell people that I'm online? Yeah. Yo,
Yo, David, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you? Yo,
I'm
put your
good. I'm
thingy
good.
upright.
What, the camera's
Yeah,
around?
yeah,
Okay, is that better?
yeah. That's better. That's better.
Uh,
Hey,
okay. Hey,
yes,
guys.
yes. All the people, welcome. We are in for a great session today. Gonna have a sip of
Yes.
water.
Yeah, same, bro. How you doing, though?
Water.
Yo, yes, Jordan.
Yo,
All right. Few viewers. Yes. We
yeah.
got Ali and Jordan as well. Jordan, done know.
Trying to get
Yes.
everyone to come on right now. Uh, uh, uh.
Well, you're in Australia, isn't it? Gee.
Yeah, I'm in Australia, bro. Down under. Oof. Hey. Yes, people. Yes, people. It is 11:06 p.m. Yeah, this thing's doing a madness still. It's 11:06 p.m. right now. Yo, this guy's Wi-Fi, man. You see, live stream always technical difficulties because we are live. I don't know if I'm the one. Oh shit, it was him. Hey people, hello. So just for everyone who's not aware what's going on, this is the hashtag, not all of us. Let me put the hashtag. Um, and what hashtag not all of us is we are an initiative started in response to what's happening in China, where black people were being kicked out of their homes, um, and as an Asian person, I feel very strongly because in the midst of all this coronavirus thingy, hey everybody, Marciano Marina, what's good? What's good? Um, so in response to all the what's going on in China with regards to racism, this thing was birthed because I experienced racism in Italy in January and February and March when I was there. Um, and I can't believe that Chinese people are doing this to black people. So this thing is started so we can understand each other better, because I would say like black Asian people don't know black people's culture. Wait, I'm just explaining what's going on here. So
No problem.
yeah, I feel like Asians don't really know much about Black people and Black culture, and so that's why I always have another person with me to be able to talk about their culture, and so that's why we're here today. And we have reached our first month. It's 4 weeks. I can't believe it. It's
Jeez.
been a hustle still. Yeah, it has. It has. And
Yes.
I'm so glad that you've come with me today. Thank you all for joining and watching us. We are in for a great discussion. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Um, so my name is David, and I'm from London.
Yeah,
Grew up in Northwest London. Um, obviously went to school down there, so definitely have an understanding of like the, I guess, Black British culture, you
yeah,
know. But my background is from like Nigeria, Ijebu Ode. What you'd say in Yoruba is Oruko Mini Femi or Olorum Femi. So that's my name. But yeah, so we're from, Nigeria, and from the Yoruba tribe, which is also very much part of like, my culture, and my heritage. So how'd me and David meet?
yeah.
Actually through
Well, should I
one of
introduce
my.
myself first?
Okay, oh, have you not introduced yourself?
No,
Okay, well, okay. All
I have to
right,
go
cool. I'll go
through.
first, and we'll answer questions later, yeah?
Yeah,
Now, just because
we'll get
someone
to it.
asked one
I'll
of
do
my.
a quick one. I'll do a quick one. So,
Okay, okay.
I'm
I,
Dweddy in the
uh,
house. Sure, that's my rapping name too. Uh, I'm
come on.
originally Malaysian Chinese. That's where I was born. But I've ended up living in 8 cities across 7 countries and 3 continents.
Jeez.
And so I've seen many places, and yeah, right now I work as a model, so I travel a lot, and I meet many people of many different kind of cultures and races and countries, and yeah, that I love culture, I love people, I love everything. So I guess I'm very curious. I always ask questions, and yeah. So how we met was so we have a mutual friend, Mary. Shouts Mary. Mary is here
Shout
today.
out, Mary.
Thank
Skis,
you
skis,
for,
skis, skis.
for coming here. And when I moved to London, and that was in August 2017. The first day I went out, I met up with Mary, and David was there. So David's one of Mary's best friends, and Mary is like a day zero for me. Uh, yeah. We met in Hong Kong when I was studying, and yeah, she brought me out with her group of black friends. Mary is Nigerian too, and it was really my first time hanging out in a group of black people. I'm gonna admit, and it was like I've experienced culture shock, but this was like, whoa, like it was super different for me, um, because
King Touch.
I don't know why.
That's
Like I definitely made a point about it, and then we ended up having a discussion. And I think at one point I made a joke, in that group, if you remember. I made a joke, and like I love to joke, and um, so I guess the first, because I didn't mean anything, and I explained myself like I wouldn't say uh whatever to anyone, but if oh shit, but yeah, because we're
I'm trying
friends.
to remember. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
trying to remember. What was that joke again? I don't even
I don't
remember.
remember, bro, but I remember like
Was
Lio.
it inappropriate, or did we find it inappropriate or anything like that?
No, I think you guys
Okay.
were trying to tell me that like you can't say anything around black people because there's a lot of pain. No, I didn't have any preconceptions about black people. It was just I felt a shock. I genuinely felt like this not this different. You know? But yeah, so I guess the first question I want to open with is
But
where do you
wait. Okay, go on.
go on, go go
No,
go.
but I was actually like, sorry for you, like, because she said you had preconceptions with a question mark.
Yeah.
Like, no, but now actually a question, did you have any?
Did I
Like,
have
just
preconception?
yeah,
Well,
did you have
and
you think, and what was maybe the the shift from, because obviously there for there to be a shock, it must have been different to what you initially thought.
I think what it was I felt intimidated from being the the odd one out.
Okay, okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
which I had felt I had been in Holland for 20 months, and I always felt like the odd one out. Um,
Mm,
being the only Asian on the street, in the group, like, and even the Asian people in in groups in Holland all spoke Dutch, so I was the odd one out. But then
mm,
I went to London where I could speak English, obviously very happy to be able to. And then I was still the odd one out. And
mm.
that was because, I spent 20 months and I just, I thought I would fit, but which I did, like bunch of creative people, loving, great energy, singing, dancing. Um, the shock was I think the very obvious thing of color, that
Of what, sorry?
of color,
Uh-huh.
because like in the same way that like when you watch a music video, you'd be like, I
Mm,
can see myself in him. Like
yeah.
I just felt so different from you guys, and
Uh-huh.
I think it was like um your lingo.
Yeah.
Yeah, your lingo is different. Um, and you um I feel like black people have a lot of energy, very high energy, very almost passionate. And for me, like in my culture, we're quite conservative as a whole. So I think the very obvious big difference of color and the energy and the mannerisms was very it definitely struck me, you know. And me being a guy who has been Jess, me being a guy who I felt extremely validated from having lived in so many places. I just felt it weird that I didn't get what was going on, and yeah, it was like, whoa, a shock again, Um,
I hear that. I hear that. I
so
hear
what
that.
was I gonna say? Did I have preconceptions? Mm, I don't, I don't think I had preconception. I think like I just didn't. Okay, it's one thing to love hip hop and to grow to the first song that really hit me was "Where Is the Love" by Black Eyed Peas, which I love, and it's like my favorite song to today. But
Uh-huh.
it's one thing to see a music video, and one thing and another to be around the people. Because it's not like 100%.
You're
So
a joker, bro. You're a
yeah,
joker.
yeah. So
Like,
the reality was confronting, I would say.
I hear that. Wow. Okay. That's mad interesting. That's a mad interesting, like the
What
way.
do you feel?
Oh, sorry, bro.
What do you feel?
Oh, like
Ah, fuck.
it's like ah, I don't know, because it's almost as if like uh
Hey guys,
um
welcome. This is hashtag not all of us. We are doing the Asian Afro connection where we build understanding and just listen to our
uh
stories and welcome. Thank you so much
yeah,
for coming.
yeah. Like I feel like that it's like almost like so it's like almost like a movie, like a
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
And then you're now in the movie. And
yeah,
do you know what? And the thing is, I don't want to be, I don't want to sound like I'm being like nitpicky.
yeah.
I don't want to sound like I'm being nitpicky. But I think that may be like that image or depiction might have might have a maybe skewed perspective potentially. So hear what I'm saying.
Go on, go on, go on.
Because, like, and I think it's because like obviously normally what's shown of like black people is like solely like the hip hop, the rap, the R&B and a lot of that, you know. So that is what people almost assume black culture is. And don't get me wrong, hip hop is a massive
It's
part of black
only
culture.
exposure to black people, you know. When I grew up, I
Exactly.
never had black people around me until I went to college,
Mm.
really, and I was 23.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Like and that's fair, and that's why like I can't even be mad at your potential preconceptions or like because it's just uh yeah, exactly, it's a predisposition based on what you've seen, which is going to be natural. So, and I guess that's why this conversation's here because like
yeah.
it's like,
It's
all
like
right,
I thought
cool.
I knew, but I really didn't.
Nah, you're good, bro. You're
Yeah,
good. You're
yeah.
good.
I'm just saying, yeah,
And, and it's like, so you go from seeing a hip hop video and almost like wanting to be that, and
yeah.
then or liking that, and then all right, being with a group of black people, and now almost assimilating that to the similar thing, and and I don't even want to come at you, but I would say that that is like it's very different because like although don't get me wrong, we look trill. You get me? The gang squad is. You get me? Like we
Yeah,
shut
it was
it down.
fresh. Like, yeah, I
Uh,
noticed you guys
like as in,
really cared
you
about your
know,
appearance and stuff, your clothes, and I was like, all right, this is
I hear
different,
that.
never seen this.
I hear that. I think what hip hop does is because when we talk about astrology, yeah, you
Okay.
talk about like the sun sign, which is almost like your external and what the outside world almost see and perceive you as.
Hmm.
And then you have your moon sign, which is more your deeper emotions and feelings and understandings. So I believe that hip hop almost represents a son of black people in a degree
Okay.
for the rest of society to see. So you see what we maybe look like or how we act or how we floss, but then until you actually meet and get past that exterior, you won't actually understand and know the moon because I'm sure, and I guess a question to you, after you initially thought, wow, this feels like being in a hip hop video, and then you got to know us, like I don't know what did you think then? Like what were you thinking after that? Because
You
I know me and you, like we're good friends. Do you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like
yeah. Well, looking back, hindsight is always 2020.
I
Um,
hear that.
like someone can be someone outside in public, but at home they could be a completely different person. And a person because like I really feel people and like
Mm,
like I felt all of you in the first time I met you, and
mm,
I get to
mm.
know people really quickly. Like because in
Yeah.
my line of work I meet so many people. We do spend time together, so like I get to know people really quickly, and like a person is a combination of inside and who you are inside and outside, and I can really feel what's inside. And yeah, like I had never set foot in a black home, and
Mm,
so even when I went to your home for the
yeah.
first time, it was such a it was such a new experience for me. Like I can really point out three times where I was in a
Okay.
place. Obviously we met and we were in Shoreditch and we were like in Shoreditch Park, and it was like a movie. It was, and yeah, it did feel like a
Literally.
movie. Yeah, I went home and I was like, yeah, this is like wow, this was a clip from film.
Mm. I
Um,
hear that still. I hear that. Wow. That's even deep though. So wait, hold on. Do you want to read the comment that Mary made?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Mary was in Hong Kong. The very few black people in our school itself. Even less in public, in general public, and sorry, she was hanging with Misha a lot, which now I totally understand because they're just things you get. So she must have felt very much more out of place. Um, being the only black person in Hong Kong. And
Uh,
human beings are multifaceted. There is not one experience that encompasses the whole entire race. So I feel like if you are from London,
true.
know more about the world because it's like a epicenter of the world. Like I would say that there are like
Mm,
6 or 7 epicenters of the world, and London is one of them. London, Tokyo, Seoul, New York, Paris, um, and such. And yeah, because the world kind of moves around these epicenters in terms of like
mm,
money, in terms of people, in terms of industry, and so there is not one experience that encompasses a whole entire race. That's why it's important to really know someone. It's important to go to their home, go into their room. I think that will tell you a lot about a person. Yeah, they could dress nice and be very well spoken, but at home, you see who they really are, and that,
so,
yeah, that's why you can't really know someone until you actually know them, and
it's true.
that's
But
what we do.
I hear that. I hear that. I hear that.
Yeah, go on.
Also, now I was also gonna say, like, I don't know, sometimes when you look into someone's eyes, that's really again what allows you to see the truth, as well as like even just, but I do know what you mean in terms of like seeing past the illusion. But I believe that by
Hmm.
like, listening, like, you can hear the true intent in someone, do you know what I mean? In someone's voice, if
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah,
sincere.
yeah, yeah. You look into the soul for sure.
You know. But yeah, it's a balance, man. I feel like, yeah, like when we go past like the like color, like deeper than that is like more of a truer understanding, But like where we live is that like color is a factor because so many people are working off like a quite a material program, where they like material, like things. So it's kind of like their things almost like associate themselves with their own ego and their self-worth,
Yeah,
almost like a dichotomy.
it's
So like,
capitalism,
sorry, bro,
it's capitalism.
basically, and we're all just feeding into it more and more and more and more and more, you
I
know.
feel it's
Uh,
important to bring up the point of representation here. Um,
mm,
we see things on our screens now,
mm,
and uh, someone has to put it there. And
mm,
before it used to be just on TV. Uh,
mm.
Before we could do things like this, and who decides what gets put on TV? Whoever has the money to own stuff and to make the decision.
Honestly.
So representation is highly critical. Um,
Yeah, but
in
yeah, I believe that you're actually just hit on the head to be honest. But
Mhm.
I believe that there's certain agendas, pushed throughout TV,
Oh,
and then
it's a human
be
thing.
there may be portions for representation, I would say. Like, sorry to like, because there'll be portions for representation within TV. And the reason why I do like that is because even though it may just be representation, and although it is representation, it's so minute that the overall like currying of TV and internet and all mainstream media is in one direction. So even our little bits of representation, I believe that they are so invalid that it is, that it is, yeah, it's just it's not even
Is
worth
it
the
the
money.
real
But
world? That's the question, right? Is it the real
what's
world? Like what we see, is it the real world? That's the
what when we see what we look on TV?
Yeah, when we talk about representation.
Nah.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh yeah. No, no, yeah.
Yeah,
No, yeah. Exactly. Like it's not. So it's like it's almost like a trick, I believe, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. if you owned a TV station, you put a lot of black content out there, you know,
Yeah, like yeah,
and there will be
yeah.
factors like what gets the most viewers, um,
But
what budget factors, um, time slots, like you can't put a shitty program on at 7:30, stuff like that. So there's
mm.
many things to think of, and uh, like people will have to prioritize. You have to prioritize, and so yeah, you can't really blame people for making the decisions that they have. But
No.
yo yo yo, Bambino, eh, and Maria G, if you're still here, um, yeah, there has to be change. However, like
Yeah,
that's why we are here because
yeah.
we're here to talk about change.
True,
It's not good
true,
enough
true.
the way it is, and
Yeah.
there has to be change. There's
I
so
believe
many
like
things, like I feel like talking about this about race itself is almost like the
mm,
gateway to all the other issues. Like
yeah.
I'm gonna be super real and open myself up to any kind of criticism. But so like I'm Christian, right? And I'm supposed to be anti-gay marriage according to the Bible, okay? You know, but in in my values, it's like I also want to include everyone, and so while there is a conflict within me, to approve the institutionalization of gayness, um, or LGBT, trans, um, poor poverty, um, violence, like a conversation like this can have, ramifications in all minority communities. So I
Mm,
feel very strongly about this. Hello, everybody who just came.
your
All
peoples. Yeah.
right,
Like yeah, yeah, yeah,
let
yeah.
me stop doing that. Sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
so shall we start actually?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because we've been going and I don't want
We've
to
been
lose
going,
from
we've been
where you want
going.
to.
It's been
Yeah,
half
I
an
don't want to
hour,
lose because
bro.
I know you've got some questions and stuff like that. So yeah, let's start and I'm sure we'll flow either way.
So we're here today to talk about the socioeconomics of racism, family,
Mm,
and we're gonna touch on music if we can. Which one do you want to start with?
bro, up to you. Up
All
to
right.
you. Up to you.
So I'll start with socioeconomics of racism. So we're talking about minority groups here, and Africa uh, is the country with like South Africa is the country with the highest GDP per capita in Africa. It comes at 40th with in US dollars 4,759 dollars a year, which is at 40th. It's not very high. Comparing with Asia, the top uh, Asian country is South Korea at 15th with 27,474. Uh, well, that is a livable wage, 27,000.
Mm,
Pretty comfortable. Um, but the disparity is huge. Um, so you know, there is racism in all minority groups.
mm.
I don't know. Do white people have racism amongst themselves? I couldn't
With
speak.
black people.
No, white people.
Uh, well, I don't know if you'd class like Europeans and maybe ginger people
I
and
guess ginger,
Europeans.
yeah.
And I'd say if Europeans are classed as white, then definitely because like English people definitely have a lot of racism against Europeans. I find with like Brexit and all these sorts of things. And I
Right.
also know like Previously Irish people also used to get it. You know,
Mm,
there should be like we're all kind of just a bit mentally ill, to be honest.
yeah.
We've all got actual mental illness. Like, how
So
you find, like just a different shade of yours or a different accent, that's now something you want to use to attack.
we've
And
spoken about colorism, and that's yeah. There is a difference between discrimination and racism, however. Um,
yes, I think racism is more like so the more the institutional bias that leads to somebody in a less advantageous position and
yeah,
uh,
systemic.
um, a creation of that and from that. Um, and like when I think about like socio-economics of like, like black people, and I think about like Africa and, here in the UK, I believe that, there's a lot of similarities, and it's because like, so the money in our pocket, so firstly, we get valued based on the money in our pocket, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
and because of like what has happened, like, over the last, let's say 200 to 300 years, it's a thing that, like Africans, and I'm gonna talk about the diaspora first, have less, generational wealth than maybe, they're like others. In Africa, it's a little bit different because they're still kings, they're still vast kings with vast amounts of land and a lot of very, very rich people.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a very big gap in between, like, the people at the bottom and the people at the top. I believe this is because, like, when like colonialism like kind of broke, and Nigeria and other states became independent states. I don't believe that they actually truly became independent states. I believe that, like, British and American governments still very much had heavy hands and still do to this day, in our oil rigs, in our minerals and our resources.
Okay.
So, and they, with the help of a lot of the very, very rich people within Africa, still fund, like the Western world and fund themselves. So that's why the masses are still yet to, have this wealth that, in terms of, let's say, land to wealth ratio, if you know what I mean.
Are you
Because,
saying that like the operations in Africa go to Western countries?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Uh,
Very heavy, very, very heavily, very heavily, I believe.
do you have numbers on this?
Um, I don't have numbers. I'll be honest, I don't have numbers,
Can you
but
explain how? Like elaborate a little bit more.
so, like, let's say, all right, cool. So, okay, so I definitely have because this is a little while ago. I looked at it was I think it was Shell Nigeria that was being taken to court because of something to do about like money laundering and foreign investors and things along those lines. I think they even own. I think there's foreign investors own like most of Shell Nigeria. I'm sorry that I don't have like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
specifics
No, 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 no.
because very long time ago. But then also, when we just talk about things like, Congo, yeah, and so that's Nigeria. But when we talk about Congo and we talk about like, their minerals being taken, I've actually seen footage and imagery, and this is like, real imagery of like, vehicles of like, the UN, United Nation, taking like raw minerals. So you have a um
Okay.
West Africa
Yeah,
was
West
called.
Africa.
Yeah,
We've covered
exactly.
that, but like I would love some more information. Really, I don't know much.
Yeah, bro. Like I could give you more information, but I'll be real. It's like, so if you look at, so there's a lady, a YouTuber, her name Dr. Mumbi. I would highly advise checking her out. So as I said, like there was a crate, a van, or a UN van. With like I think it was cobalt or the mineral that used in all of our phones.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
and different minerals being smuggled out the UN van out of Congo. So,
What?
obviously, UN, the United Nations, I know that this is they are heavily kind of, under Western influence and things like that. And like, a lot of the destabilization. So we're talking like Cameroon. We're talking about like French speaking Cameroons against British speaking Cameroons. Like I'll be real with you, bro. Like African's nature is not one of killing. An African's nature is not naturally one of killing. Like naturally, it's one of like love, harmony. Like that's naturally, as everyone else. But like, why are places like Cameroon, like they're picking up guns for English speaking Cameroonians and picking up guns for French speaking, and then they're pillaging each other. Like, I believe that there's a lot of destabilization from Western influences so that they can easily come in. And now, like, we've got places like China, who's heavily, heavily loaning and making big investments in Africa to take the resources, and it's one of them ones where, like, I can't even be mad and be like, hey, Chinese, get out of Africa. Don't get me wrong, I am like that. Yeah, I am. But it's like, hey, Africans, stop selling your land. Stop being stupid, because really and truly, I always talk about, like, when it comes to Western powers and things like that, even like the police, it's like these people are only as alive as you make them. When you make them irrelevant, they become irrelevant. So I don't. So like that's why, like, when it comes to like me like generating like my community, because obviously I'm part of an organization we call BPG Wayewa. Yeah, we're creating a
Of course.
community. It's an energy, it's a spirit, it's a connection of people. And with Wayewa, with what we're creating, it is something where we just focus on each other. To build the black community, I focus on the black community, but then I also focus on loving my brother just like you. Do you know what I'm saying? And that is really like how we move towards stepping away from these influences and these powers. So I just want to, do you want to read those two comments that someone made? This is Naja G.
The problem with Africa is mainly corruption. We tend to sell
And,
ourselves short.
and
African,
then she made a comment, or he made a comment earlier. He said, Africa's, you
uh,
want to say it?
yeah, African wealth.
Africa's, well,
Before, yeah, before.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Africa's wealth has been stripped from colonialization. Tricky word.
Mm,
You have
mm-hmm.
to remember that West Africa was called the Gold Coast. Yeah, I learned something on this journey. This thing has been such a journey for myself because I'm learning so much, and like,
Yeah.
I, if you don't know, you can't love it, right?
Yeah,
Um,
and sorry, bro, sometimes I go on, sometimes I go off, because when it comes to this, obviously this is the reason I breathe. Do you know what I mean? Like for my people, for my community, like this is like the only reason why I'm here. So when I talk about that, sometimes I might go on a bit of a tangent just because
go
there's a
for it.
lot of passion. Um, but yeah, man, like it's like,
Mm.
boy, boy. But what I would say is, sorry, because what I would say is that even though, I do have a lot of like, I guess, pain associated with it, I look forward. Do you know what I mean? I don't reside there. Pain is a marker or a cursor, something to guide you away from the same thing again. Fresh guy.
I need a trim, man.
Listen, all of us, bro, all of us.
Go
Yeah,
back.
you know, pain is a guide. So it's like raw, like we had pain from, the Western influence. Like that is a marker. It's like if I touch a heater and it's hot, I'm not gonna touch it again. So we've had pain from the Western influence. So I'm using that pain as a mechanism for change, so that I understand what I'm gonna stay clear of, as well as, some fuel to my fire, you know.
Negative energy is
But
positive energy.
yeah, man. Yes, exactly that. Come on.
Eh,
You know what I mean? Sorry, bro.
I,
um,
I have something written down. It's uh,
mm,
slavery, I've learned, is a huge part of your history, of Africans' history, um, and I would say the displacement of generations denied Africans the accumulation of generational wealth, uh, and that's a huge difference between your I guess the context of your generations and Asia's generations, because in Asia the generational wealth is a huge thing. Um,
Mm.
so do you have? I mean,
Yeah, bro.
the
Yeah, I've,
it's hard because it's a hard one because my question is, um,
mm,
like why do Africans, I mean, it's a stupid question because, like, my observation would be like, oh yeah, African people are chasing the money, um, so much so that they will kill their own mankind. But if you don't have it, it's hard to empathize with how they're feeling, um, because I come from a society where there's generational wealth, and it's like, okay, like that's something that I guess most people who are not African of African descent don't understand until they look into it. And
like,
yeah, so I can't point a finger. And yeah.
like you see, so my views on that, and like you're right. You're actually right on the head, and it's sad, because like Africans, we don't have a lot of generational wealth in the diaspora. In the
Mm,
diaspora.
yeah,
In the diaspora. So, like, as you talked about the displacement of Africans generationally, that has messed up a lineage, and a few generations have been messed up. So, we're talking about transatlantic slave trade, Africa to the Caribbean, and then here to Britain, and then African Americans, and then, Italy. And, they haven't had the opportunity, as you said, to accumulate that wealth,
yeah,
you know. But then what I would also say, and this slyly lends to even our next topic, which is family,
yeah.
because I believe, and call me a conspiracy theorist, because like, I truly believe that like Western and the powers that be, we would, are very intentional in the destruction of African wealth and of African family, which now leads to wealth or could lead to
Yeah,
wealth,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. I see it. I see it.
And even till now, to this day, it's like, it's like, like society will sooner, break up a home, especially within an African home, abortion clinics. There's a high rate of abortions, in the African community, in and around like, London, Americas and stuff like that, but when you go like a little bit more outer London, you have maybe more family planning clinics, for like the white people and stuff like that. But like the black people, we're talking about abortion, because we're not trying to focus on the family. We're trying to focus on still trying to break and fragment the family, you know. And it's one of them ones where like
System.
that prevents us. But what is amazing about us Africans,
Yeah.
is we are so resilient and so powerful.
Yeah.
Not to be egotistical or arrogant. Like we can make money, we can sell, we can hustle, we know how to hustle. So like that generational or that lack of generational wealth has only taught us that we need to work harder, and as we will, do you know what I mean? And like, it's one of them ones where like obviously me and my brother, like you came to London in 2017. That's the year I started my business, BPG, and the charity, the Waewa Foundation, and
Tell us about that.
in
Tell us
that
about that.
time,
Tell us about
okay, yeah, so BPG stands for Black People Giving, Love Me Black is one of our brands. And we're essentially an organization and a holistic ecosystem designed to connect the community, and connect people and things. So we call our community, our energy, our spirit, we call it Wayewa, Wayewa. Wait, our problem is sticking together. We tend to feel as if we are competing with
Yeah,
each
do you
other.
feel that?
Exactly.
This is super like yeah, it's a real this is real
Yeah,
now.
that. Do you know what? That is so real, and it's one of them things where, like, I believe that if we strip that away, if we could get rid of that, we would actually be able to move forward as a people. Because I'll even be honest, like I might see something that somebody else has and I don't have, and I'm thinking, shit, I need to get up so that I can shine. And then I have to check myself, like, wait, why did you say that? Why are you thinking that?
This is
For what reason? Do you know what I mean?
out there. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, nah, this is tough.
And we're being educated. We're being educated. You
Yeah,
know that it's been intentionally placed. And yeah, most definitely, I believe so. Like, come to think about it, I believe so. You know, our bodies are not enslaved, but our mindsets are. Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing is, like, all right, cool. Let me. Oh, actually, let's hit them where they're at. You know, because you talk about our bodies being enslaved, but our bodies are not enslaved, but our mindset is exactly that. Like, they have almost cultivated the zeitgeist of the community and of the people. And it is very, and I always attach it to the love for material, because the the
capitalism is
love for
a tool.
material becomes almost like a mental program. And that mental program makes you attached to something. And that attachment, more time than not, is, most likely yourself, but your physical self, your wants, your needs. And when you only count yourself as this physical self as want and needs, it's very base, it's very animal. A lot of competition resides in that inner, being. So you
Yeah,
naturally have a competitive sort of angle. But if we focus more inwards on our spirit self, and more an understanding of us and a collective consciousness, now we start operating on an understanding of equality, in the fact that we all have our strengths and weaknesses, you know so we are never going to be equal in every single thing, but
yeah,
in the fact that we are spirited people, we are equal in that capacity. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
you know
Uh, well, actually, I have something to say.
I
First of
work
all, we
on
are in
it.
our sort of like last 15 minutes. For everyone who is watching us, we will start a second live stream because live streams shut off after 1 hour. So watch out for the next one on the same accounts here. Okay. Um,
Do you read
so
those
before
comments?
before I go into the comments, like
Sorry.
me doing modeling, I'll just go quickly. Me doing modeling, like I go to places like Milan, Paris, London, where people, Asians, specifically Asians, fly from China, Japan, Korea, you know, in for Fashion Week, and I do Fashion Week, and um, I'm not so high fashion, and they look crazy. They have like the craziest looks. They are taller, which is crazy, and they these guys get all the jobs, and I might get a few. Like I found my comfort zone, but I also know that I don't work a lot during Fashion Week. I know that like throughout the year I work better, but I can't help but feel that competition, even though I have touched the sky. I have I have achieved everything I wanted to do, and I do have enough for myself. Like when I meet another Asian model in the home of a friend, in a specific example, I still feel this competition, and we're supposed to be friends. Just because he looks like me and we're out trying to get the same money. There's one job and there's two of us. One of us gonna get it. It's this mentality, this competitiveness where we're like we don't really know, but then we get to know each other and like we're actually cool. Um, but if you see us on the street, like if we know each other, it's cool. It's a friendly competition. But if we don't know each other, we wouldn't even talk. Like we wouldn't like
Mm,
a lot of times they wouldn't even look at me. I'm trying to be friendly because I'm like, yeah, like we're the same race. We should, be brothers and sisters. But yeah, if you, I feel it's like a maturity thing as well. So don't
mm,
blame anyone really. It's I feel it and I still feel it. I'm
Mm,
highly competitive, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you because you're my competition. Um, I'm I'm here to get the job. Good luck for you. And it's a very, very sticky one. Um,
mm.
it,
I think like sometimes I don't. Sometimes I think competition is not always the worst thing, depending on where it's coming from. So
Mhm.
like in that setting, at times because so I've done a lot of sales in my time,
Yeah.
and so similarly when I'm working, like it's like yo, who's gonna do best? Who's gonna get the top? And it pushes you sometimes to do better.
Mhm.
So on one angle, that could also be a way of looking at it. You know what I mean? But then, like when it's unhealthy, and when like you're competing so much that you now bring each other down,
Yeah.
that's when that becomes unhealthy. When
Yeah.
your
Yeah. Yeah.
competitiveness
Yeah.
doesn't allow you to see where you could mutually benefit from lack of competition in that place and maybe moving towards a monopoly.
Yeah, like everyone wants to be in a monopoly situation, but and I have to check myself when I have negative feelings. Unhealthy is such a great word. Um, but yeah, like it takes a level of consciousness, and it's also difficult to do as you are feeling it. Looking back
Mm.
is easy, but as you're going through it, it's hard to, like, oh wait, like I shouldn't, because sometimes you just want to win, and that's human nature. Especially when there's money on the line, especially when you're gonna eat from that money. If you can buy a Nintendo Switch from this money, it represents something to you, and it's always bigger than just money. All right, let's
Mm.
go into the comments. Let's go into the comments. So Naja G says, as someone who is black and white, as someone who's biracial, I see it from simply the way my white family pins my sister and I against each other, which is crazy. You're
Mm.
supposed to be in the same family. I'm a lighter skin tone. Honestly, this thing could go for 3 hours. I'm a lighter skin tone, and my grandma favors me. She makes my sister and I compete. She used to tell my sister to lighten her skin tone so she'll be as intelligent as me. How does that make sense? We've been forced into a box. I think we should also touch up on how um, Black and Asian features has become a trend, colorism too. Minorities always feel in competition because we don't have space. That's what we need to understand. Minorities will always see each other as competition because we don't have a space to flourish. There's always the token POC is fashion, which is used as okay, like me being in the fashion industry, um, I definitely can say that this happens. This is a real thing. And how so? If for example, if a fashion show had 60 models, um, it would be now it's changed because the really, really dark skinned Senegalese boys uh, are very popular at the moment. But like before this trend, which is like 2 years ago, we started, it was Asian, and there's always a case of supply and demand, and in a show of 60 models, there would be um, like I've done shows where there's like 50 something models, and I'm the only Asian guy,
Mm.
only one. So
Mm.
in Fashion Week, it's like if there's 60, there is like and in that show, I was the first Asian
Mm.
guy to walk that show. Okay, so while I'm very
Naja
proud of
got
myself,
some really good perspective. Sorry.
yeah,
Now I'm listening. No, Naja G got some really good perspective.
yeah,
But
because
yeah, no, go
yeah,
ahead. Go.
yeah. So like it goes back into representation because there will be 5 Asian guys and 3 black guys and 60
Mm.
or 50 something white guys, and so yeah, they don't give us a lot of space. The trend now is for inclusivity, and publications and stuff are speaking out uh, against against non-inclusivity, saying yeah, we won't represent you and stuff. Okay, cool. But like, if a brand does, uh, look, if a brand does a show with more Asians and more blacks now, okay, because they feel a threat against not doing so, but in their offices they still speak poorly to people of color, don't hire people of color, um, and have a very a culture that is, you know, biased to one race, one color, one type of person, then there is no real change. You know, it's just for show, and it will
I
change.
can
Like
see.
when all this rah 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 goes dies down, then they'll just go back to, you know. So that's
And
what we're
and
doing.
the, and the thing is, like, I think it's about like, perspective, angles, infrastructure, and our energies. So when I go there, so it's like, all right, cool. When we look at like our whole entire world and who is dictated by, yeah, to be honest, I believe it's actually by people who do some really like messed up like wizardry and stuff like that. I honestly believe like, actual powers and like voodoo and stuff like that. That's seriously, bro. Like real, like, when they talk about this battle of good and evil, I believe that is really what's at play here, and it now, I've been shut on photo
Simply
shoot
put,
told
there is like all
that's
this
amazing.
money in the world, and for someone to
Yeah.
have much more money than the other,
So
they must have
so
got the
wait,
money from somewhere.
you guys to play a cultural stereotypes in order to look to book jobs. I want to touch. So wait, hold on. So I
Yeah.
want to just touch some of the I want to just what Nadia G spoke about, because it's like, all right, cool. So and and then do you guys think, and then make sure
Yeah,
to go on to the
representation makes us think like, oh, the world is this way, and it gives us a certain type of exposure which might not be really representative of the real world. All right, go on then.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. But then it's like, so it's like the overall aim is for like a serious like whitewashing of like the world. Do you know what I mean? Like a serious whitewashing of the world. Like the general trend is for a whitewashing of the world. So then you go into like various different corporations and companies and stuff like that. And the people that operate at the top levels, we're talking Vogue, we're talking, the people, the Sun, the people that actually put out the stuff. Obviously, the general trend of that is always going to be to whitewash the world. That's why we got like them vaccinating children in Africa and, abortion clinics on the rise for the black people, because that's the general trend of the
Because
world.
there has been a history of serious oppression, and we have to
Exactly.
stop
It
that.
still
Yeah.
continues, bro. It still continues. So then when we look at somewhere like Vogue, where, this is the modeling scene. So
Mm-hmm.
within this shoot
Two
and
minutes left.
within
We're
this,
gonna move to the next one, okay? 2 minutes left. All right, go on, go on. Sorry.
okay, okay, 2 minutes left, then we're gonna go live on Instagram again, okay, guys. The
Yeah.
main objective is to carry a similar sort of tone. But I believe that little bits can be put in to show that we're trying, or we are trying to diversify, as well as using those tokens, black and Asian minorities, to amplify their following, but for the same message, if you know what I mean. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's
I
like,
have a different angle on it, but it's the same thing we're talking about.
mm,
Yeah.
um, and but then I guess we all have free will, we all have choice. So what's making us make these decisions? What's making us make these decisions? Like, what's making, like, because I don't blame the individual that is taking the picture or the individual that's directing him. It's probably the TV show that they watched the night before that made them have this predisposition for more lighter than darker. So then we have to look at what in that is creating this cognitive bias, because it's very present. It's very present in this world. So British Vogue on the air. It's so much better than. Oh yeah,
Can you
Edward.
comment
Yeah,
actually?
'cause I heard something about Vogue. I heard Vogue.
Yeah, the editor is now black.
Black woman, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard that. I heard that, and it made me very, very happy to be fair. But I was just using Vogue as an example to be
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
But mm.
Yeah, but it's just British Vogue, right? It's not all the
Yeah,
Vogues in the world, so it's just one. It's good that there's change,
do
but
you know what I mean?
it has to be lasting,
But
yeah. Yo, yo, yo. Everybody come through. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Go live. Yes, yes. We got the cells in the house. What's up? What's good? We are going to have the second hour. All right. Let's
yo,
jump back in. Let's jump back in. We're
sound.
talking about representation. Honestly, we prepared so much, but we're going into it right now. So we're talking about
Trust me.
representation.
Um, and yeah, so like it's like so like it's like as you said, Vogue Britain. That's a token. Yo,
What's up, buddy?
that's a token. Come on, David Gang. Skr, skr.
King,
Come
King,
on.
House King David. Do you know what I mean?
And it's like I think the masses. What I really like. You see, my true message, yeah,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that masses need to understand that we've had a mad trick played on us, which makes me think that David here, Black David in the UK, is, different or so different that I should hate you, David, Asian David in Australia. We are so different that there's not enough space in the world that we need to compete with each other. I should hate you, you should hate me, and everyone should hate black people. you know, and we need to evaluate like what is that cognitive bias and how do we
it's
work against it? And then
it's
once we've done that,
history,
sorry, bro.
historical. So such a mentality has historical roots.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, how it says, how you say that it has like historical roots, but then when we look at it on a different angle, because like you made a comment earlier talking about like be it slavery being a massive part of like black culture, black history,
Yeah.
and it has done no whoa.
Everyone,
Yeah,
you're all our friends, so thank you all for
come
coming.
on.
We
Yes,
appreciate
yes,
you.
hey, yeah,
We're
love to everyone,
not
love to
trying to,
everyone.
but we're trying to do something here.
Yes,
And
yes,
it's all love. It's all love.
but sis, now you're right. Now, sorry, she said the black woman is the most hated human being in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, why?
It's
To be honest, I believe so. Again, society makes it this way. But so, all right, cool. Wait, I want to wait. Just give me a second. So, you talked about slavery being a big part of black history. Yeah. But then, really and truly, when like, you're learning in, like school, GCSEs and stuff like that. Yeah. All they're teaching you is about slavery, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. And that becomes the only history we learn, and that's the only history I learned in school. Don't know, Mary. But when I grew up and I started like actually looking at our history, started looking at like some of the deep history, like we look at people like Mansa Musa. Have you heard of Mansa Musa?
no,
I think
actually.
the other day. Did we? Mansa Musa.
No.
So Mansa Musa was an African man, a king back in the day. He
Yeah.
was so rich. I'm talking rich in gold. Mansa Musa was rich in gold.
Okay.
That when he was traveling from one city to another, and he just started buying, local street people's stuff. Yeah, he destabilized the whole economy because he gave away so much gold because he was so rich.
Yeah.
So it's like that is the only history we're told about.
Yeah.
If we realize the richness in African history, and this ties into African culture, because African history is African culture or African truth, which is more of an understanding of, the true nature of the African spirit, because which is, God, or the spirit of the Most High, whatever you want to call, making reference to those that came before us. But this hasn't been portrayed to the world, or the richness of it hasn't been portrayed to the world. It's been almost created as voodoo and da 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 da.
Yeah.
So it's, I would say, it's more of a perceived knowledge of the history of Africa that creates this cognitive bias, less the actual truth of it, you know, less the actual truth of it. I think so too, Mary.
No, David is on the next one again, and then we have
Maybe, well, we can
George.
interchange. We can interchange. Either way, man. Either way.
No
You
worries.
know.
If Naja, if you want to be on, because we have been speaking a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, anyone can come on. So tell me if you want to join.
Yeah.
Which will be great because then we really get to know each other. What was I gonna say? Um,
And then she talks about the black, sorry, she talked about the black woman as well, which, like, really and truly, and I believe that this has been, again, correctly manipulated so that our caregivers, our child bringers, as well as, our warrior queens, have been pushed to the bottom of the pile, but really and truly, they are the beginning of creation themselves, because, only out of black comes everything else in terms of colors, in terms of, creation. This doesn't put anything above or below. We're all on a spectrum, but it's like, if there was to say the most original people, like, there's a lot of arguments to say that it was black people. And I believe that, because, black people have been taken from Africa and have been put in different places, and to stop any sort of real African power rising because they want to keep pillaging it, the black woman must be kept down holistically, overall, through the whole world, of black people. Because if we keep the black woman down, that means you're keeping the whole generation down. You're keeping the whole nation down. You're keeping the family down, because the lower the mother goes, the lower the child goes, and the
yeah,
lower the grandchild goes.
oppression serves
You know?
serves one through another suffering. That is what oppression is. So I actually wrote this down. Um, I feel like even in Asian culture, especially hey, yes, awesome. Join. We'll set it up.
Don't know,
Uh,
don't know. Gang, gang, gang,
so
gang, gang. Come true, come true. Put
even in
questions,
Asian
questions.
culture, males are preferred, and for the birth of a child. I guess that's where it really comes from because I would say that in Africa, because this the disparity of wealth in the world, Africa is kind of down there. Um, if I'm not wrong, you would have to families with children will have to the children will have to start work early and there's a lot of manual labor involved. There's, even in Asia, there's a lot of this kind of situations, families. So I guess um, that's why women are sort of looked down upon because
Put
before they were
tune.
born, they already preferred a boy, and
Yeah.
combined with the highest rate of educational exclusion in the world for Africa, um, yeah, it's like I guess the conclusion can be drawn that it's much less likely for a kid born in Africa to aspire and have parents that support the aspiration of being a scholar, of being a scientist. Engineer is is more you gotta work when you're 16. Uh,
Mm, mm.
so
Like, I think, yeah, I think 50-50.
50-50.
50-50, because, like, I believe, like, because like you said, like, many Asians, have, like, quite large aspirations, and their families, very much push that, but similarly, like, because, like, if I speak on a
All right.
personal
I was
side
just
of things.
asking. I mean, at the end of the day, like I can't speak on black culture, so no
Yeah,
judge.
exactly. No, it's good. No, no, it's like obviously, like like you're just pushing based on your
I'm pushing for
interpretation,
education.
your understandings.
Don't
But
worry.
like obviously with my personal like my personal background and stuff like that, like obviously, my dad's a solicitor,
Okay.
and like my dad pushed me to achieve high from very, very early. Like, I've got a degree in biochemistry, I was always very, very studious because yeah, in a Nigerian culture, it's very much you gotta get educated. We got places like, Zimbabwe. Even though they talk about Mugabe being one of the most terrible leaders, like
Mhm.
Zimbabwe and a high percentage of Zimbabwe and people from Zimbabwe can read and write and are getting like university level degrees and things like that. Education is actually free or was free. I'm not sure if it still is. So but then I think like society definitely does paint a picture that, Africans and black people don't, push themselves to strive too much. But then what I would say is that, because of some of the damages and the breaks within like the family structures, especially here in the UK, I'm gonna say, um, I can recall the girls who will go show person who can help around the house.
So
Ridiculous.
really, the question is, why are women, sort of less preferred than men in
Oh
African
yeah.
culture? That's what
Um,
I'm trying to get at here.
I, I don't think it's obviously like I think obviously when we look at what strength is, a lot of people see strength as like your physical strength. But I think as we're moving more towards like, the 21st century and, like a woman can literally out earn a man. Like many,
Yeah,
many women out earn men. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Um, and so I believe that there's definitely been a shift in that in the 21st century, you know. Previously, obviously, it's more of a hunter-gatherer sort of thing. We want boys so that we have men. But then also, many times men want men because, carrying on their bloodline, their surname, and these sorts of things.
Yeah.
But I don't really believe in this like I don't know where we are now. Like I don't think there's too much of a preference. Like I think like even in like China, like there's kind of been like a equilibrium or
China is
a look to restoring balance, no?
China is
Because
a
there's
weird
been too many
case.
men.
China is a weird case because of the one-child policy.
Mm.
So
But now there's too many men now, isn't it? I heard in China.
yeah, yeah. It's China is like it's definitely unnatural for a
Mm.
whole generation to have no brothers and sisters
Yeah.
generally. Um, so that's its own thing, and it's its own topic really. We could go hours, huh?
Yeah, But yeah, no, I think like in this modern day, I think both genders are pushed really, to go for like education. And like in my experience, some of the women, especially like black women, like in and around me, like are some of the highest achievers and the ones that works so, so well. Nigeria, so so.
David's got responsibilities, man.
Nah, just nah. My lady was just over hearing it. She said that actually she believes that black men are pushed more in education than black women.
Okay.
But and like
What's up, Duchess? Come through. Come say hello if you're cool.
Well, just my thing would be just depending on the culture within, because black, like I said, there's many cultures within the black
yeah.
culture.
Mm-hmm.
So depending, because
So
say
she
for example, Nigeria, they push their children
Yeah,
more. They
she's
say,
she said like dependent on culture. That's what thing I was gonna make as well.
Hmm.
Dependent on culture as well.
Hmm.
Like but like when I speak about me and Nigerian culture, I know that men and women are both pushed for education. Do you know what I mean? Or pushed like like my sister, she got a degree in law. Then my brother got a degree in law. Like my sister was the first. Like she was the first, and she wanted to do art and a lot of this stuff. And my parents were like, "Listen, like you
I'm
gotta
gonna
go and
be super,
study."
super, super real with you and cut you off. my preconception was that like Asians were pushed for education super a
Mm,
lot, but I didn't think that blacks would be pushed for education like the same,
mm,
and that is a
mm.
preconception.
Bro, like I've got to be real, especially when it comes like people know, especially like Nigerian homes, but then Ghanaian and a lot of Africa actually come to think about it. I'm talking Zim, like real talks in the UK, in like classes where I've been with like people, especially like like maybe like white people and stuff like that. The a lot of the black youths were like big high achievers, but then, and let's switch it because like Mary did like this because we got to be real as well in UK, and I believe this has come and this stems from the destruction of the family. A lot of the youths in the classroom act up, but then I believe it's because, firstly, a lot of very young, yo, JD, long time, long time, long time. Um, I believe that because of the destruction of the family, there is less of that pressure to, achieve and to work really, really hard and stuff like that. Maybe because mum might not have enough time to fully push that you, or maybe mum hasn't been taught that in a certain capacity as well. Do you know what I mean? But I believe because of like there's a lot of young moms and do you know what I mean? They haven't been pushed, so this now topples on. And also when we talk about education itself, it's like the education system that has been created here is very different to, I'm guessing, what a lot of education systems were before. We're talking about like deep African and I'm sure Asian culture and traditions that learning came from a different angle. It was less like a lot of words and maybe more understanding of numbers, shapes, colors, and more of an inner standing, less of an under and an outer standing. So maybe that's why some naturally didn't fall in line with like the educational system and pushing their young ones for that. But yeah, like I find that like many of our young ones, but I just believe that it's from the destruction of the family, so these young ones aren't actually being pushed properly.
All right, let me
Mm,
because we've got some people asking me, why would you think Africans aren't pushed as much as Asians? So
mm,
I want you to understand what going to school in Asia was like for me. It started at 7:20 a.m. and we go
mm.
on till 6:30 p.m. That is school hours, and
What from what time, sorry?
7:20 a.m. till
Yeah, yeah.
6:30 p.m. That's class
Wow.
time, okay? And like I used to travel 2 hours to go to school, um, and I would take 2 hours to come back from school. So like my experience, like I went to school in Singapore, um, for 6 years,
Mm,
yes, and that was incredibly tough, and I didn't think that anywhere could be as demanding uh, as that. That was obviously my world, and I was up to the age of 16. Um, I didn't think that you know um it was and the whole culture of education is like um everyone has to go to school, and if you didn't do well at school you were looked down upon. So there is a lot of pressure to do well at school, not just from parents, which was almost an expectation, um but from society in general. Like if you met someone from another school, you ask like, oh, what stream are you in, which is like how many years do you take to finish school. For me, excuse me, I was very lazy but did okay. So yeah,
come on.
so I I
Dalulu.
I was always in, say, the best stream. um but like the so first, that I didn't so I couldn't relate to people who weren't doing well in school. That's what I'm trying to say. And uh and uh so that's my first point, that I didn't
Mm,
think anyone could be pushed as hard as I was, really. And I think that's quite fair. uh It might not.
Uh,
It's not like the truth for the whole world, but based on my experience, I think that is fair enough. So secondly, um, you know, I think colorism plays a part now, where I grew up in Malaysia, where um, there was Malay people, um, and my dad always said that they were very lazy and stuff, and the system was very biased towards them. And then there was Indians with a darker color, and they uh, had the stereotype of being drunkards, even though they could be like lawyers and stuff. Okay, so um, I guess like from what I saw is like, you would, I guess, see black people do very menial jobs, like ta- it's not, I don't want to call it menial. It's like taxi driver. It's like very laborious. And you didn't really see uh, a lot of black, I say bosses. Um, and that's my experience. And so the combination of, I didn't think anyone could be pushed as hard as I am, and I don't see anyone in a successful, and any person, black person in a successful position. Um,
and where was this?
Across all the countries that I lived in, man. Um, when I was in Hong Kong, um, yeah, colorism is a huge factor. When I was in Hong Kong, me and Mary were there together. Uh, I first, it was like, yeah, the first time I saw black people on the street, and they were always in the party spot selling weed and selling whatever. So that is like for anyone who doesn't know a black person, um, it is like very easy to slip into that conception where and it becomes a
Yeah,
practice, that black people sell drugs and stuff. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm
You
being
know,
very real here.
yeah, because like even when I've gone to like European countries, we're talking about um we're talking about like yeah, let's say Austria or Turkey. Like a lot of black people, do sell drugs, and you find like
Yeah, and it's a
many times
problem
when
of
you see that's
exposure.
what. But then like I think that it's like and I actually want to go back as well, just to with the point in terms of like, because like obviously you maybe were working hard, and a lot of the I know a lot of these are talking about like them being pushed in a similar sort of way, boarding schools and things along those lines. Many of us were pushed in those types of ways. Um, but then also, like I think like there's also like certain other struggles, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
That
sure.
maybe stems from like, the home, etc. That means that the the focus isn't just education. The child can't only focus on education because maybe the child has to focus on, like, making sure that the house is all right as well,
Yeah.
So like different pressures, but then wait, hold on. Talk about,
So yeah,
but then
continue what I was saying. Sorry, I'm just gonna finish up. Like,
I
yeah,
finished.
because of a lack of exposure to black people and black culture,
Mm,
that became my assumption, preconception, really. But thank you all for
mm,
understanding. That
yeah.
I don't mean to put you guys in a box, and that was just what I saw and what I understood.
Not at all. Like you see what Mary said. She said something about like that. There's many actual similarities between Asian culture and Black culture.
Yeah.
And that focus on education and pushing in terms of education is definitely one of those things. I believe that we share in common. That our parents are. They want us to do better than they did. Man, like Abby. They want us to do better than they did. And they push us in that sort of capacity, and like based on obviously what you've seen, and the thing is like obviously the diaspora. when like Africans go to different places, they find it very difficult to get jobs and to get things like that are just, like a proper office job and these sorts of things, which I would imagine. So I believe that's why, and also, all right, cool. I'm gonna explain this as quick as possible. In Africa, yeah, there is such a revering of like British, Western, and English culture and American culture. They love it so much. When I grow up, I want to go to London. I want to meet the Queen. That's what you want to do. So
Yeah.
you're killing yourself so hard to get out of Africa to go to like the UK's and America,
Can you tell us the
so that
process of how a family would emigrate to the UK? Because from an Asian perspective, you have to have money to do this. But you said before that that there is not a lot of wealth.
sometimes, yeah, they smuggle. They go through different places. They go through different places. Like, do you know what I mean? Smuggling to get out to try and get a better life. Do you know what I mean? Forging documents and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? So by the time they get there, they ain't even got the proper documents.
Oh,
Yeah, of course, bro.
I
Come
mean,
on, man.
I don't blame anyone, but holy shit.
No, I'm gonna put her inside. Yeah, man. But it's stupid because it's like their mentality is that they want to come to the UK, and yeah, I'm sure Asians do it too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I have
You know?
a distant family member who went to America and stayed. You know.
Mm.
Yeah.
He went to America and stayed there.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Bruh. And did they go there legally?
No, no, tourist. Hey,
That's
what's
the thing.
up?
That's the thing. Hey, say hello, bro.
What's
um,
her name?
no, so this is Nova Ray.
Nova.
Simiola. Yeah, say hi to the peoples. Yeah, yeah.
Can you bring
Started
it to the other side, please? Because you'll be yeah, 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 on your other lap.
Is she blocking the comments?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, okay. Someone's blocking her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, comments blocking her. So yeah, so like, and so they might get there illegally now, and then they're now like maybe selling. I know, but say hi to Auntie Mary. Hey.
Do this, do this.
Hey, come on. Look, say hi to this is Uncle David. So when we go to Australia, we go to visit our bro.
Yes, yes.
Come on.
Welcome to
Hey.
Australia.
You know what I'm saying? So then, so wait, so, hey, Nova, look, hey, let's say hi to you, Nova.
Oh my God.
So, hey, no cry, no cry, no cry. So now, because like, so the African mind in Africa reveres the UK so much, now they kill themselves to get there. They now get there, they can't find proper jobs, so now they're forced on the street or selling or something like that. So that's what now that happened. So now everyone sees that only depiction of Africa from that one man, maybe off the street or something. Now you take your whole conception of black and Africans from that. Then the TV now further inputs their sprinkle with all showing hip hop and big booty and da da da. That's all you see of black people. But that is not it. You've seen a tip of what the eyes start showing.
Rappers say it themselves, Like, I'm from the hood. What else am I supposed to do? What do you think? And that forms our conception.
Yeah, but then that again comes from the transatlantic slave trade because they don't know their roots, they don't know their culture, they don't know their language, they don't know it. So they're only basing it off a program that has been almost taught to them, which they're reiterating to themselves, this gangbanging shit. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, we as the people, so that's everyone in this chat, need to start breaking down these barriers, and having these conversations where we can open up the minds of the people around us. It starts with ourselves, and don't get me wrong, we've all got preconceptions around so many different things, and so so, no, Mary, they said Africans are hustlers. They'll go anywhere in the world and change their circumstances. But like, we've all got different
I learned a
preconceptions.
lot from African people.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, they preaching, David. Yeah, and speak to our affluence and get them to more of an understanding that we are all people. We are all love. We need to focus on the love and truth. Less, focus on up. you know, up, down, black, white, better, worse, you know. Let's just focus on me, you, truth, love, and how maybe I can help you, or how maybe you can help me, you know,
Yeah,
or maybe
that's what we're
I
trying
could,
to do.
or maybe,
Bridging
you
gap.
know, but that's why we're here.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but like, you know, we're all like warriors. We're all like warriors. We're just talking about it, but please, my squad, you know, I just want everyone to,
I mean,
I
the
like
thing is,
my,
right, like
mm,
you talked about your history and like this king and stuff. Like,
mm,
growing up in Asia, we
come on,
always thought like, oh, like
what's my job?
black,
No,
no,
stop
sorry,
that.
white
No,
people
no,
are superior. Uh, there's
stop.
just
If you
this,
want to come in, you
this,
can come in, but don't do that.
uh, yeah, this
Go on,
school.
no, I'm listening, bro. So sorry.
Nah, that's cool. Like we always thought white people were superior and like they're just better
Hmm.
and oh why? Oh, because they're white. Um,
Honest, I actually, do you know what? I actually thought that, yeah.
mm,
Yeah. Until sorry. I actually thought that until I got to year 5, yeah. And like there was this guy that was in my school that was obviously like of a different color and stuff like that. And I was like, wait. And like obviously he was like not very smart and do you know what I mean? And I used to do a lot better. And I was kind of like, what? Like, is this what we've been thinking is like the top, the smartest, the best? And not to say that he weren't like he was dumb or anything like that. But it's like raw, like we've been played a trick. Do you know what I mean? We've
See,
been played a trick.
I didn't even think that until I realized that actually
Mm,
actually I'm clever. Like
mm,
I can't lie to myself anymore. Like suddenly I'm like actually I get this, I get this shit. And I look around and it's all Asian, but I was like, yeah, I get something that they don't. And
yeah, yeah.
then I started to realize that because I learned when I was 15 that uh, that ice cream and paper were invented in China, and I was like, these are things that are everyday, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and like Asians invented some things, and so I was incredibly proud of it. And then I realized, you know what, like I have a bloodline I have a race of kings, warriors, scientists,
Mm,
inventors, uh,
mm,
and I always found Asian music very beautiful, which was the more like yeah and gunpowder and people want to listen to what's on the radio, but when I heard the music I was like actually it's quite nice, and
mm,
so that's when I started to take great pride in who I am, and so I don't think like oh they're better than me, um,
mm.
but
You just rate yourself.
yeah, but it wasn't always like that. Uh,
I think society, you know, teaches us to almost be discontent with who we are, especially in comparison to potentially like, you know, white people and stuff like that. So like simply how you said like, you know, you found out about some inventions of like Asian people, like, you know, I heard like a black person like, you know, invented like the light bulb and stuff like that. For me, you know, that like really, really again inspired me. I hear about people like Mansa Musa, you know, where like kings, warriors, similarly, you know, it just gives you a lot more value, a lot more self-worth, you know,
it's easy
and
to
less.
forget that because that's not what's taught.
Exactly, exactly. And the thing is, you know, less being just like a black man living in the UK or an Asian living in Australia, you know, within us is a deeply rich culture which we can almost reside upon, you know, and we're like, nah, this is the culture I'm from. Do you know what I mean? It gives you a lot more to walk with and be with and, you know, give reference to, you know.
Yeah, we fight and shit, but like we also did great things, and it's
Mm.
yeah, definitely the representation. It goes back to representation. All
You know
right,
what I mean?
so we have a lot of people saying that they were discriminated in the school system. There's also why there's a lot of fetishing of white women within the Asian community, but no one's ready for that conversation. I'm gonna be super real here. Mary was there. When I went to Hong Kong, I was like,
Mm.
I need to speak to a white girl.
You what, sorry, bro?
I was like, I need to sleep with a white girl. Uh,
When you were in Hong Kong?
yeah, because I always had
Wow.
Asian girlfriends, and I was like, and I said it to white people, and they were like, why white? But yeah, the fetishization is a real thing. Um,
Mm.
it's very hard to explain. Um, Probably impossible to get rid of, but let's try to understand why this is a thing. But that's definitely another conversation for another day. Um,
Mm.
I didn't
That's an
think about our
interesting one.
disadvantage until year 8 when they put me in bottom set, everything because I was black. Yeah, like I can definitely relate. Not being racially discriminated, but like unfairly set aside to a lower, you know, set, I guess. And
What, because you're Asian?
oh
Did you feel
no,
that? Did you?
no. This
Oh,
was like in for English class. In this school they
okay.
put us into 3 bands, and they put me in second, and I ended up being the only one of only 5 people in the school to get a A1, which is the highest grade in the
Come
national
on.
exam, in the final
Come on.
national exam. So it was a big fuck you, and I was like, I'm not worse than them, and they're not better than me. But
Listen, did you see Mary as well? Well, like, why do people? Why, like, you do? Like, why do people do that?
yeah.
Like, what? Like,
I think it's from a management point of view.
mm,
You have to make decisions, and uh, let's talk about this taking the afro out thing because I want you to speak on it. Or maybe girl, if you were to go into offices as a girl, you couldn't wear your natural hair. You can't have an afro. Um, And that I've heard many stories about this. Can you say something about it, please?
um, so like, yeah, like within like obviously Western corporations and stuff like that. I think these days, more Afro styles are being more accepted. But previously it was almost seen as like not kept or not clean. To not be wearing like a weave or something like that. Something more in line with like Western standards,
Yeah,
Western standards. Even for us as men,
acceptable amongst men.
eh, yes, even us as men. Do you know what I mean? Like if we have our hair out, like cane rolls and afro or stuff like that, in the office environment, they're like, oh, like, can you cut your hair? Are you gonna cut your hair? Or, these sorts of things. So it's like, like again, black women and black men have been, told to, almost subdue their natural like curls and natural hair so that it fits into the Western stereotype, or the Western ideals of beauty, which again just gives and forces African or gives African more of a cognitive dissonance in terms of loving themselves, because you now stop loving yourself
Yeah,
because
yeah.
being your natural self is
I,
wrong for what you're really achieving and aspiring to, because you want that promotion, you want your manager to like you, so you're
yeah,
not going to wear your hair like that, but really you're stepping away from your actual self. And it's deep. It's deep, and it leads to some mad self-hate. And this is why, like, when I talk about Wayewa and building a kingdom, we are not focusing anything that we're doing in their Western operations. We are inspiring people to be the best versions of themselves, to set up their own businesses, to be empowered and emboldened by themselves and by loving themselves, and take that energy to cultivate what they want to create. Less having to form and shape shift to reach somebody else's ideals, but really you're just further hating yourself for it. So that's
man,
that's
it's
that's
so hard to even like get my head around the idea of not being allowed, like, because I have, in modeling I have been told to lose weight. I've been told that I'm fat, and that feeling was like,
fat.
yeah. Like I was chubby a little bit, but
Yeah.
It was such a, it sunk in my stomach and
Ebony.
it
Come on.
stayed
It's what?
and it sunk in my stomach. And
Mm.
yeah, I felt shame, I felt guilt, I felt disgust,
Mm.
myself, and it made me do things like go running and stuff, which I still do, you know, like trying to fit in the industry standard. But I can't imagine like for black women or black men, yeah, like to be, you know, 21, just come out of uni, apply for a job, finally getting to the last stage of interview, and then they're like, "Can you change your hair?" Like, oh, we can't hire you. And that's fucked up, man. Like to be in that
Honestly,
position.
come on. Honestly, like it's mad. Sorry, Mary said yes, Ebony, because she said that. If you read the comment just a little bit, earn it from Ebony.
Yeah, for me, Bonnie. I quit a job because they wanted me to get those lovely hair extensions,
Giles,
girl.
Russell Pond, yes,
The
King.
company refused to pay for said hair extensions.
Ooh.
I believe in investing in a work uniform, but like they I and I understand the you know that managers have to make
Good,
decisions,
good, good
um,
them, good
but
them. Come on.
there should be consideration for someone's identity.
Mm.
It's like I does the hair really um make them a rebel so much so that you can't manage them? Like is I think that is the question here. You know,
I think it's I think it's more like the uniformity, and keeping a you because when people lack identity,
yeah,
then they're easier to control.
for
So
sure.
it's like when you're not like your own person with your hair and stuff like now you're all wearing suits, and now you kind of follow in line how you should. Less kind of, being your own creative. And it might make you more difficult to manage. But like what I would say in the modern day, really, we're looking for people to be in positions and we want them to create from these positions. Let's just be funneled in a box and, like told to do this and do
Yeah,
that.
from
But
a
then
management
obviously
point of
that's
view.
more my style. What'd you say, bro?
From a management point of view, an individual with strong identity is much more difficult to perceive as much more difficult to to manage, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one would argue, one would
Yeah,
argue, one would
yeah,
argue.
yeah.
But like as Iboni said, my hair will never affect my ability um to do my job. Do you know what I mean? If anything, it should embolden you because you feel yourself. You feel happy. Do you know what I'm saying? But again, as I said, like when you talk about like the when I spoke about like the curry and the overall agenda to whitewash the world and the destruction of black civilization, it all it comes into play in every single tone, and this is how racism has been created as a disposition, as a
I guess
program.
yeah, you like historically, you know, the system has been set up for such decisions to be acceptable. Um,
Mm.
Yeah, like how is it okay for you to demand someone wear their hair
Um,
differently? You know, how is
mm,
why is it okay? And I think that's where the system has failed
um,
us uh, in humanity. Um, so we would love a black woman on this live stream. Um,
come on.
I would love a woman on this live stream because then we can talk about girl things. Um, but
We
yeah,
talk about girl things.
yeah, yeah. We had okay, so in the last session, we had
No,
an
this is
Indian girl,
joking.
and she does makeup, and she the real takeaway for me was her point of view about beauty standards and how beauty standards and wisdom go hand in hand.
Mm. It's
Without
so
beauty
good. It's so good.
standards, there to uphold racism uh, in outward appearance, there wouldn't be much.
Wait.
There would be a lot less racism, and racism creates the beauty standards. So it's a cycle. So
Yeah. Well, Is it that beauty standards create racism or racism creates beauty standards?
Racism creates beauty standards, but beauty standards upholds racism.
I think more beauty standards creates racism, I would say. Because
Like it was birthed because of
I
this.
guess it's always
So
gonna be
it's like
intertwining, yeah,
cycle. They
every
push
time.
each other. And
But did you say that beauty standards like keeps it going?
yeah, because it's an outwardly thing, you know. It's like you see someone across the street and you feel it. Um,
Mm.
and why do you feel like that? Because of the beauty standards thing, you know. Because they
Yeah, yeah,
they're
exactly,
as beautiful,
exactly, exactly,
because they are viewed as
exactly, exactly,
intimidating, because
exactly,
they are viewed as
exactly.
rowdy, because they are viewed as dangerous, because they are viewed as less intelligent, because you know just less and more, just not equal. You know that
Yes, yes.
a lack of equality in beauty standards. Okay, we have girls who really wanna. Okay, everyone
Yeah,
who wants to be on the live stream, please. I will give everyone a week for sure, at the very least. Come and text me, DM me, so I can manage this, because I have reached out, because yeah, everyone's it's been tough, you know. I've reached out to keep it running so far, and now you're coming in, so this is great, and this is exactly what I need. I need as many people. We need as many people to be speaking, so we can have different point of view. But I need everyone to reach out to me at this point. Okay, please, please, please.
trust me,
Mary
because
and
that's
Naja, please message me. We could have an all-girl session, you know, so the guys can learn more. Um,
real talks, man.
yeah. All right, all
Real
right.
talks.
So,
Okay,
um,
brilliant.
I have a question about black on black violence.
Mm.
I in 2 weeks ago, yes, thank you so much. Me and Marvel have we came to the conclusion because of, yes, love Mary. So because of the
Thank you,
whole
Mary.
single parent culture of African families, like you can't deny, right? The single parent culture aspect of the black
Mm.
society. Um,
Mm.
yeah, and you know, fathers leaving. There is it comes with yeah, a lack of and really a hate for the father, you know, because they see their mom working so hard and stuff, and growing up as a child, and so yeah, I have a question on black violence, which is what do you think can be done?
Boy, like, obviously this is something that
Yeah, I guess I've
I
opened a whole can of worms here
black
because
on black violence is mainly associated with class and being in poverty rather than race. Mary hit it on the head. Mary hit it on the head. I hate the whole
class and
idea
being in
that
poverty.
black on black crime. I hear that, and why don't
Yeah,
they
yeah,
say
yeah,
white on
yeah, 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 yeah. There's Asian on
white?
Asian, there's white on white. Um, is it a
Like, to
thing
be
though?
honest,
Is it a thing though?
so like that. So we gotta be honest, and we gotta be clear because
Representation as well, of course. I see that.
exactly. So most definitely, like that term is fucked up. That term has been coined to create more of it, to amplify it. Black on black crime is cool. Bloods versus Crips, Tottenham versus Wood Green, da 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 da. Black on black crime.
Yeah,
And it's done to amplify it. And you know what? I'll tell you, this is the real agenda. This is the real agenda.
I
You know
mean,
why?
there's a lot of power behind this.
And
Actually,
I'm going to tell you why. So we were migrated from Africa to now, the UK and Britain and UK and, Americas and stuff like that. So think about it. Like when you're building like an army and things like that, yeah, like who do you look to? Like who do you look to?
if I were to build an army, um,
Mm.
yeah, I guess black people.
No, no. If you were to build an army for your nation, who would you look to?
Strong and athletic and knows how to handle a gun
Yes,
and
exactly.
uh,
But
yeah,
men,
yeah, yeah,
men,
men.
men, and boys to be men.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm,
know.
mm-hmm.
So really and truly, by destroying, by destroying black youth, it now means there can never really be real black uprising or black, actual power and strength because we're too busy killing each other. And that's at the end, and that's why I believe that the culture's there. But then why does it happen? We need to look at why. So firstly, we need to look at socio-economics. So we're looking at the economic position of most black people let's talk about in the UK and in America, you know.
I fully agree with
Um,
that, bro.
you
I
know,
fully agree.
and
Yeah.
and it's like because a lot of us are maybe in the ends and okay, I'm gonna step it back just 1 second, yeah. So when we talk about culture, yeah, I always make the representative of culture similarly to like culture in like biology. Yeah. So let's say like a petri dish that you have like circular petri dish and you have the microorganisms and it's like it has a specific medium which allows the things to grow. Do you get what I'm saying, David? Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
everyone
yeah.
with me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
culture for those microorganisms to grow. So the culture of many of our youth, in London is like blocks, ends, Northwest London, Wood Green, Tottenham. That's our culture. Within that culture is, firstly, the socio-economic position of that culture is at the bottom of the pile when representative of the rest of the world. Look after her, pick her up. It's okay.
It's
That's
cool,
right.
it's cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool.
Um, 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 So that culture is, at the lowest, lowest of like, our community, obviously because of things, slavery, family, etc., etc., etc.
The lowest kind of petri dish. Okay.
In a perception of
Perception wise.
material and wealth,
Yeah,
financially,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
spirit, I would say. But anyways, sorry, that was just
Lowest
the ego
value.
backing up because when we
Value.
talk about lowest dish, I couldn't imagine my people being the lowest, because
No,
like
no,
I
no.
always think.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
I know,
in
I know, I know, I know. Just,
yeah, 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 yeah,
no, it was just my ego, bro. It was just
portray.
my ego. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Mhm.
sure, sure.
So it's like, but so now within that culture is, obviously the social economic position, but then within that culture, and you have the ends now. You
Mm-hmm.
know, some of these young boys find it very, very difficult to get jobs, make money because of maybe the culture and the environment they've been grown up in, which means that they go on the roads and they start selling weed and stuff like that. Because that's the main reason why bear violence happens. Like it's a
Yeah.
lot over money and over girls, but a lot over money. And as well as like, prehistoric beef as well. But more time it's end for end, you're selling on my turf, nah, nah, nah. So you're getting run out by the man them. But now you've run out the man them, maybe you stab me in the leg. Now the man them are flying back.
Make a point that
Uh,
this happens in other cities, not just London,
Yeah,
where it is white on white crime,
I hear that.
but that is very publicised.
You right, girl. Yeah, so now my partner, Duchess, her name is, made a very, very good point is that, this happens in other cities as well, with like white people and Asians, but is not really amplified at all because I know some of the big coke dealers are like, maybe even Albanians and, English, but even at the top of the chain, it's these old English guys, really and truly
Yeah.
that are controlling, the running of like the heroin and whatever. But they never get amplified as well as they're killing each other. But because and the thing is, oh, and wait, sorry. And this is how it gets fucked up. Mind my language, I'm sorry. Because
Go for
these
it.
young people, they're never shown an actual depiction of a positive role model, especially a positive black role model. So that means,
Yeah.
especially the TV, all they're seeing is music, like the hip hop culture, and they're seeing another youth dies, another youth dies. So their aspiration, because you can only almost create aspiration based on your perception, unless you've got a really, really good imagination. Do you know what I mean? So their aspirations are only based on what they can see, the reality. So now they're further feeding into this gang banging as if that is real life, as if that is what is going to get you to the top, because they don't see any other way to get to the top. And that's why some of my work is so important, is paramount to me, that I make sure that I'm putting money in these young ones' pockets. Do you know what I mean? And able to provide them with the skills that they can use to firstly get jobs, to sell things, to sell themselves, as well as to develop
Mm,
themselves, to navigate in society that won't give you a chance. Do you know what I mean? You need to speak properly, and you need to understand that you can get it,
yeah,
but their mindset is here, and this is where it comes to, maybe that single home, because, like I know sisters that maybe, so sorry, bro, that maybe have had to work, and then food's in the oven, or here's a bit of money to get something on your way home. So that boy is being raised out on the roads, in
yeah,
these coaches, in these blocks,
yeah,
and then we have the ends, Tottenham Wood Green, that these governments now further perpetuate this, because they never want a surging of the actual generation that is supposed to be, like properly building up Africa and properly building up ourselves, so that's like what, like, I believe it is, and I believe why it happens, because who naturally wakes up and says, I just want to kill someone who looks like me? But then also, sorry, we need to talk about the self-hate, because us as black boys, we're walking, we might see another brother, and instead of having the first initial thing of, oh, yo, that's one of my bros, you're probably, oh, really, what's my man on? Like, oh, why is he looking at me like that? And that again comes from that, from the examples of what we all we see is black, black boys stabbing each other, another black boy's dead. All we see is a negative depiction of ourselves in the media.
and
So, and it just further perpetuates, and it takes a certain amount of awareness to be aware of your thought process, and to understand that this is not of you. But sometimes it's too late, because you're either in jail, you've gone to the mad home, or you're dead. Because 12 to 18 are really the years where it's almost pick and choose. Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? So, like, we as people, again, we as people just need to start opening up our minds, you know what I mean? And opening up, like, shifting the paradigms of the people around us. Collective consciousness comes from wisdom and understanding,
And how do you think we can go around it?
like,
Go about
by
this?
I'll be honest with you, bro, by literally loving one another past the things that, now, can we talk about the aspirations of trying to make it out at the ends? Right, like, so I'm gonna, all right, cool.
Go on, go on,
And yeah,
go
no,
on.
you touched on that. But yeah, like, by talking and breaking down our barriers, and when we see the youths understanding that they might have an actual conscious bias that has been programmed in them as why they're acting like this. Not that they just want to walk around bad, but maybe they've been in the end so long that all they have to do is be bad. Do you know what I'm saying? Love and guidance. Yeah. Thank you for your input, though, Naja G.
Thank you,
I
Najee
appreciate that,
G,
man.
real
Like,
G.
come on, G shit. And it's like, we need to show more compassion. We need to have more understandings that everyone has gone through trauma, and everyone, sometimes they're just carrying it. A lot of these young boys are just carrying mad trauma. Like,
Yeah,
I work with a lot of these young boys. And don't get me wrong, I've had like some of them like coming at me. But I'm looking at you in your eyes, and I'm like, listen, regardless of all this shit, I love you through this. Do you know what
yeah.
I mean?
2 minutes left, guys.
Shit. Okay. Oh,
We're
sorry,
going
bro.
to.
I went
Well,
off
I need to
again,
go to the
man.
toilet before still. Go on,
Sorry.
go on, go on. Wrap it up in 2
I,
minutes.
I'll sit there, but just, yeah, that we're ready to love through it. We're ready to have compassionate through it, and just understand that black people, we just want to be loved. We just want to love others. We just want to grow our community, and we would love for whoever wants to help us and support us on that journey. And if not, just do your thing as well. We got compassion and love for you same way, but just don't put us down. That's it, because we're ready to rise.
True. So the media puts you down, never shows
Mm,
triumphs, and combined with the hatred. And I lived in Canning Town, like that's
remember.
pretty ends in it, and I like came out of there feeling like yeah, like, whoa, like definitely like always looking out, like
Jeez, Andrew.
because yeah,
Mm,
someone got stabbed right outside my house, and You know, that was just what,
Mm.
and is like I totally understand why black guys would look at other black guys and go,
Mm.
what's he looking at me for? Uh, just from a human point of view. But if you're in the society and you know what goes on, then you would definitely look out even more. Uh,
No.
Guys, we are in our last 20 seconds. This is the second hour. Can you believe it? We're going into a third hour. Are we going to a third hour, bro?
Ah, what? Can we go for a third, like maybe like 20 minutes or so, just
Yeah,
to
we can
round
go
up?
20
Close
minutes.
up?
Just to
Yeah.
wrap it all up. So in 7 seconds, six now, we're gonna have to switch over. But give me some time. I need to go toilet. Okay?
I'm proper.
Yo, 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 yo. Hey, hey, hey. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yo, yo, yo. Hey, Lorenzo. I'll be there tomorrow, okay, Lorenzo? Much love, much love. Um, would love, I guess now we have waiting list for people joining the stream, but I would love to have you speak some life into the conversation, and talk about how black youngsters, or even just youngsters in general, can start their own businesses, because the real way to challenge the system is through ownership, and yeah, we need more of this. uh, you wanna hop on, bro? Just while David is he's probably taking care of his kid. Hop on for a bit if you want. I can invite you. I'll invite you. Come true. Yo, bro.
Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, David. Well, you're the only guy. We're gonna I would just say hi to Lorenzo. What's up, bro?
I'm all blessed. What about you?
Uh, what? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. In the middle of this discussion,
Yeah,
you've been watching, right? It's been pretty
it's been pretty
pretty.
good, mate. These lives that you're doing are super inspiring. Like, you need to do more of this because, you're talking about some stuff that people are thinking, but they're not really expressing them. And the fact
Yeah.
that you're giving people a platform to discuss about these things is super amazing,
Thank you,
you
bro.
know?
Thank you, bro. Yeah, I've committed to every week.
Yeah,
So Saturday 4 p.m. UK time. This is
yeah. No, it's a very good thing. I know that it's a lot of work. But bro, keep up the good work because you're doing amazing, to be honest.
bro, levels. I'm gonna get David back on the thing. Okay.
Yeah, get him back.
Thank.
Tune in tomorrow. I would love to hear your thoughts on the
Okay.
topic that we'll be talking about. So if you're
Okay.
free, tune in.
I'll be free.
Amazing. All right, love, bro.
I love, bro. I
See
in a
ya.
bit, in a bit, in a bit. Cool. Uh, Move guest. David. Let's get David on the thing. Alright, cool. Alright, we're gonna have David back. We're in our last 20 minutes, guys. It has been 2 hours. Yeah. Yo. We haven't even done anything that we set out to do today, but we have really kept it real. This has like I feel inspired myself being part of this conversation, because I'm learning right now, and I'm really in yeah, expanding my brain, and it's great to know. So we're talking about the media and how they represent black people, um,
Mm.
portray. So I had a question, which is like, Mary has a sister who was a sprinter in the Olympics. Team
Margaret,
GB.
come on. Yeah.
So in Team GB itself, um, you know, what's the proportion of whites, blacks, and Asian? If you have any knowledge, and okay, no,
I'll
no,
be honest, I
yeah,
don't know. Let me see. Is SJ here? Nah, he's not. He was in the last. One of my friends is he actually trains with GB.
send
So he
send
would have
send
a.
send send, send the thing to him. Send the thing to him, and get him to come through. There's like an arrow button, or is there an arrow button?
Okay, okay. Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, yeah, yeah. Jeez,
Yeah, send it to
SJ.
him. Yeah, we want to
Okay.
hear. Um, yeah,
I'll be honest. I think from what I've seen, yes, Khaled. From what I've seen, there's actually a lot of like, black and, yeah, black people that are part of like the GB team. That's what I've found. There's a lot of black people. And it's like, because like obviously we are good, we're athletics. Similarly, like, Anthony Joshua is like the poster boy for, British boxing. Even though I think he's a little bit smarter than they think he is, they think
right.
they can just control him, but he's just kind of
I
using them.
mean, yeah, everyone at the top plays the media somehow, right? Like they have to have a
Yeah,
space.
of course, you
All right,
have
but
to.
I'm
You
gonna
have
stop
to.
you right there. The reporting on black athletes, for example, um, compared to that there was that British diver who won, and I forgot Tom something, and he was like everywhere, uh compared to, sorry, Duchess,
And that's
compared
good.
to
No, I'm listening. Sorry, bro. Sorry.
compared to other black athletes, has there been a similar portrayal other than Anthony Joshua, because there's only one, not
Mm,
Tyson Fury, okay, cool, but other than, in the whole, I guess, demographic of athletes, for example, is very relatable. Yeah, Tom Daly, compared to Tom Daly, has there been any other black athlete at a similar level who has been portrayed in the media as
like
as a
beyond,
hero?
like as I guess superhuman, not superhuman,
Yeah,
but like larger than life, as in.
yeah,
Mm, I, I, like I think about like Floyd Mayweather.
yeah.
Think about
Locals though, if you can.
mm, not
Have there
not
been
really
victories though?
since like. I'm even trying to think about like football and stuff like that. Because to be honest, they probably really should be. But I'm trying to think because like I'm into sports. I'm into sports like, but mostly like football and things like that. You know, and black people are normalized when they're doing the same things that white people get praised for. Yeah, I think so too. And it's like I like when I think about big sports stars, I'm no one's really coming to mind. But then when I think about like one of the best black sports stars in like my generation, I think about someone like Raheem Sterling. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
not really Ali Mayweather. They had to force it.
sure. I
Yeah,
mean, whoever
they
makes the
had
head, right? Yeah, makes money
But
for
it's
sure.
like, and when you look at someone like Raheem Sterling in like
Yeah,
this generation, it's like he's at the top,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
highlighted like someone like, let's say, Harry Kane, who again is at the top, but it's Harry Kane. Do you know what I
Golden
mean?
boy of England.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a little bit like there's no one really that comes to mind.
Sterling has had to fight, right? Like the
People
report,
like,
there's a negative spin on his tattoo. Um, he
you know,
is going against racism, fighting racism publicly. It's a battle for him, but Harry Kane just sits and he sits out for 9 months a season, huh?
you
Sits
know, you
9
know,
months a
you know,
season,
you
and
know, you
he's
know.
the golden boy of England. I mean, Anthony Joshua is its own thing because he won, and he is he dark skinned, Anthony Joshua?
He's medium. He's a lighter skinned black person, but he's
Yeah,
not light skinned. If you
yeah,
would call light skinned.
yeah, which is
Time
perfect.
he just sorry?
Perfect for the media.
Yeah,
He's not light
yeah,
skinned. He's black, real black, and we put him on there, and he's not that black that we have problems with, you know. So yeah,
yes.
yeah. So
Like
it's perfect for media.
caramel jokes. Real
Yes.
talks, because it's not like he's a dark man. It's not like he's the skin of Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
So, like, I think like it's a crossboard, man. It's a crossboard. It's a crossboard, and like I think that if we're just honest with ourselves, like it's just so evident and apparent, just across everything that like everything in like almost created, but then in society almost kind of stems from that root of like inequality. I'm not just gonna say black equality. I'm gonna say inequality. Yeah, now AJ is Nigerian. Trust me. I'm a Yorubani. I think so. Um, you know, um, and it's like it is what it is, and like I came to terms with it a very long time ago because the thing is, it stems down from the top. The elites. But then it's like the Matrix. You know how the film The Matrix, how like a normal person can turn into Agent Smith.
Yeah.
That's how now that from the top they've got the systemic racism, but now it now topples onto that clerk at the council that you're speaking to, who has a natural predisposition and bias against you as a person because what has been taught to them from the
It's
upper
the
consciousness
culture
of
of the office that they work in.
exactly of the office that they work in, but then also the country that we're in, but then also the people that run it. Do you know what I mean? So it's not even necessarily their fault. They don't even know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
what
yeah,
what
yeah.
what
That's why
do you
culture is so important.
so when I say Agent Smith, so from like the Agent Smith of the Matrix, it's like how any random person could turn into Agent Smith. So that could be like you go into the council and you want to do something, but that person who you're speaking to maybe is less predisposed to be favorable to you based on their indoctrination. So they now turn into that Agent Smith,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
person as part of the matrix is trying to attack you, because of how the system is set up. Anyone can be that. Do you get what I'm saying?
System makes
Like
you think and act white.
exactly, it makes you think and act in exactly how they want you. And then also, and you know what's mad? Because I remember I got arrested one time, yeah, because there was some youths getting, they were getting like handcuffed and searched and stuff like that. They like the police literally just jumped out the van, handcuffed these youths and started searching them. I'm like, what? Like, what's that? You can't just jump out of the car and like handcuff people. Like, what's that about? Do you know what I'm saying? And then there was an officer there and he was plain clothes. I didn't even know like he was an officer. He was like, "Oh, they're just doing their job, mate." And I'm like, "What do you mean they're just doing their job? You're just infringing on people's human rights. You can't just do that." And then this guy now he pushes me. I'm like, "Brother, you all right? You look like who you pushing, fam? Like, do you know what I mean?" I was like, "Who the f you pushing?" Do you know what I'm saying? I said, "I want to swear over my daughter's head." Like, who the f you pushing? And then he's like, "All right, mate." Obviously, like. Then he smacked the handcuff on me. Then it took like six of them to get me down. I was kind of, to be honest, I kind of let them get me down. I was like, all right, cool. Like, you lot for real. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, I was kind of in like stance, but then I was like, all right, cool, six, you lot, take me down, fuck it. Oops, sorry. And then when I got to the station, I now realized the line of questioning, the way they even frame their questioning, it funnels you in a particular way. So, like the way these people are trained and they're taught is in a particular way to make them discriminate against you. It's in their philosophy many a time. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like you need to understand that so that you can maneuver around it. Do you know what I mean? And not even blame them, not be so emotionally invested in them that you're angry at them. It's more understanding of the system that allows them to be. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Nobody, they said you beautiful girl. They say you beautiful girl.
Yo, yo, yo. Can you repeat your last sentence though, please?
so that we should be less angry and mad at the individuals that are um enforcing this system because they have been that baby because they have been almost indoctrinated in a type of way, you know, and taught in a type of way which allows this indoctrination to come forward. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we need to, but if we're
Yeah.
not aware that the system makes them do this, and I say makes them because that's what they're training. When they're so when there's a box to tick, like are you white British, black British, da, 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 you get funneled into a box, much like do you want to live in? They'll ask you two questions. Do you want to live in Wolverhampton or Derbyshire? Maybe. Let's say they want to move you out of London. You've only got two options. Much like those people are taught only with like two options. Yes, Phil, Silver Fitness. You know, those people are only taught with two or three options. Come on. So they are almost being programmed like a robot. I call it a conscious programming, you know, and they only act it out. So as I said, we should be less invested in them and emotionally invested saying, oh, I can't believe you've done this to me. More an understanding that the system of law that resides upon us creates this. So when we understand it, we can now maneuver. Because at the end of the day, when you write something in law, that's a very physical thing. Us
Yeah.
as people, we are metaphysical. We're more flow like the water. So regardless of what it is, as long as we're in alignment with, you know, something that's actually like positive and true, we should be able to move as long as we're not breaking the law and doing positive things. Do you know what I mean? So it's just an understand 100% not just police, citizens too. Exactly, exactly. And that's where the Agent Smith come and mess you up. You get it?
Yeah. See,
Citizens too.
like
Everyone's playing these programs.
my point
Gone.
was you know, if like if you watch Harry Potter, right? Um,
Mm,
and the movie ended, you would end up speaking like Harry Potter for a little while, you know?
mm, mm-hmm.
So what more about a job that you
Exactly.
spend 40 hours at a week? You would come out thinking like that in real life, or you know, well, but when you were in the job, you would you would uh, be more in character, uh, almost,
And
and
then, yeah, and then
yeah,
you adopt that character.
the culture is something that is not spoken about, and it's very important to know what the culture is in the place that you work. It's something that I look out for. Um,
Lorenzo, I'm going to hit you up in a second, but no, I'm listening. No, sorry, no, go, go, go.
but
Mm-hmm.
I like yeah, it's hard as a young person. Uh,
Mm,
it's hard as a young person when you don't have much choices to choose based on culture. Then
mm.
you have to constantly check yourself to make sure that you are not being indoctrinated. Uh, okay,
Honestly, and wait, and yeah, nah, actually, let me not go on. But yeah, you're right. And but then we talk about like the lasting effects of like the culture because like you're working in the environment for 40 hours a week, you're naturally gonna now start carrying some energy of that culture. But then that makes
wait,
me
come
think
on.
also about like slavery and stuff like that. And even though people there that say that slavery was abolished, you know, when black people came over to here in the UK, you know, there was a particular energy in a way white people which taught them. So that's a culture which a lot of white people potentially have grown up in. So that's an understanding of their potential bias as well. You know, so Lorenzo asked a question, and I really want to answer it. You know, just because I don't know if there's any other people that you know may benefit from it. And when I think about what keeps me going, obviously, I'm part of an organization and a community group called BPG, Black People Giving, and the Wayewa Foundation and Wayewa. It's essentially, you know, about development of the Black and African community. Because I think that, listen, our children are dying on a large rate every single day You know, our children are dying, and if we don't do something, they're just gonna keep dying. They're gonna go further into the ground. Our generation is gonna be destroyed. There's gonna be no lasting legacy for us. Then I think about my daughter. I think about my family. You know, I think about like if I don't make this change, who will? And that's literally what gets me out. Like, don't get me wrong, I have times where I'm thinking, shit, like, I don't give a shit no more. I don't even want to do this no more. Like, like, this is difficult. I'm getting bad press from people, negativity from people. And after 1 or 2 days, like, I'll literally just wake up. I'm like, yeah, we got to go again. We got to go again because we need to leave something in place because where Africa has been pillaged so much, the heart of our African youth, again, has been pillaged. Unless we put a legacy in place, that will allow them to start funneling through and inherit generational knowledge, generational wisdom. We're gonna be destroyed. So it's like it's for me, it's very much life or death right now. Do you know what I mean? It's crunch time. It's life or death. Like it's like if we
Really
don't do
felt
it,
this, man. Like
you know, it's like
this could
good
be
to
my
these
life.
guys. Sorry, bro.
Like I've really felt like this when I started this conversation. I felt like
Mm,
this thing could end up being my life. Um, Time will tell, but
yeah, boy, you
it
know.
could be my life's mission to be honest. But we shall see.
Yes. Yes. Boy, fam, I'm grateful that you brought me on. Do you know what I mean? I'm grateful you gave me an opportunity to share, to express, and to yeah, I guess share a message with the people. Do you know what I mean? But we understand that like we're not too different. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like
I'm glad I
similar.
understood today. I'm glad I learned something today. Um, because yeah, we didn't really even talk about everything.
We didn't. We didn't. Sorry, I think I kind of went off on one.
No, it's cool. We had such a great conversation. Shall we just wrap it up,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah, yeah. Guys, we have gone for almost 2.5 hours. Uh,
Crazy.
it's crazy. The time went, the time flew, uh, and it has been such an energetic,
Thank you.
engaging, and
Thank you.
um,
Thank you. Thank you.
real conversation. And we spoke about things that were uncomfortable. We spoke about things that were
Mm,
difficult, but that's where we really learned something about each other. Um, I hope you learned something from me today because I learned something from you for sure.
yes, bro. Most definitely.
So thank you so much, and all of you, thank you all for coming. Um,
Very
it has been
grateful.
a great one. We will be here same time next week, uh,
Yes. 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 Yes.
and
Yes.
we
Yes.
might
Yes.
actually touch about what we actually could stand and shit.
Yes. Sorry, bro. We had to open the space. We had to open the space. We had
Open
to
the
open the
space.
space.
My God,
Sorry,
and it
man.
looks like
Sorry.
people want to join and shit, so I have to find a way to structure it.
Yeah, man. Well done, man. Well done. All right,
Thank
nice one, my bro. Thank you.
you,
Love, power,
everyone. Take
respect,
care.
man.
Thank you
Love
all.
and guidance to everyone.
We'll see you next week. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye Duchess. Bye Nori.
Bye, everybody.
Bye David. Yep.